Welcome to CivilNet. Have you ever thought about how you can turn ideas into opportunities? Well, today we have three very special guests in our studio who are going to help us understand how we can do just that. Our first guest is Sara Anjargolian. You are the co-founder and CEO of Impact Hub, a very exciting new initiative in Armenia, which I hope we will be reporting a lot about in the future when you officially open.
Impact Hub Yerevan.
Impact Hub Yerevan, yes, let's make the distinction.
Yes. There are over 80 around the world. So.
Okay, go ahead, plug it, yes.
No, I don't want to be the CEO of all 80 quite yet.
Very good. And joining Sara today, we have two friends, colleagues from the Czech Republic, Petr, Vitek. Petr, you are a social entrepreneur, consultant. You've co-founded impact hubs in a number of cities. You were with Deloitte, where you understood how you could merge business and the nonprofit world and have real social impact investing in the world. So we're going to have a lot to talk about. And Ondrej Zapletal, you are the former executive director of Vodafone Czech Republic, which is a corporate charitable foundation. And you are part of something called Social Impact Bank that we will also talk about in a minute. But I want to start with Sara. Through social media, we found out about something that Impact Hub had initiated called the 30-day challenge. And it was about incubating ideas and turning ideas into opportunities. So why don't you tell us what this initiative is all about?
Sure. So this is the first program that we're running, Impact Hub Yerevan is running. And we all are constantly noticing the problems in our communities in Yerevan and in the regions. And we thought it would be interesting if we could bring together in 4 different cities, Yerevan, Gyumri, Stepanavan, and Gavar, folks who are interested in not just noticing those problems, but doing something about it, and not just doing something about it, but turning them into an opportunity. And by that, we mean social enterprise, and to start bringing the concept of social entrepreneurship and social enterprise, spreading it in Yerevan. It already is in Yerevan, but particularly also in the region. So that was the original idea. We've run the workshops now this week, and in 30 days, we'll come back and we'll watch those ideas that have been kind of talked about this week turn hopefully into ideas for opportunities in both the regions as well as Yerevan.
Right, excellent. So you reached out to the impact hubs, and so then we got Petr and Ondrej to come to Yerevan, and you guys are running the workshops with these because people had to actually submit ideas.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah. Actually, we discussed it with Ondrej and Petr, several calls over Skype, and it was their great idea that we have people actually submit ideas and submit possible solutions before the workshops to sort of assess seriousness, and how need seriousness, how to what extent people have actually thought about these ideas. And actually Impact Hub Prague, which Petr runs, is our sister hub. So we have been kind of following in their footsteps, building Impact Hub Yerevan. So it made sense that we reach out to them first.
Okay, very good. Well, before we speak to Petr, I want to talk to Ondrej. You have extensive experience in social entrepreneurship and social impact investing. And you guys were in Gyumri yesterday. I know maybe it's too soon perhaps to ask you what your impressions are of the kinds of ideas people were submitting and what you found when you went to Gyumri.
Most of the ideas and the projects that and problems that people are tackling, they are very early stage. They have it's rather well to solve the problems. But it's probably the most important thing that there are people who have the will and guts to go and try to solve the issue. And what we can bring here is something about the global trend to socially innovate, to bring new solutions to existing social problems, and do it in a socially entrepreneurial way. Czech Republic has gone through a similar stage. We've, with Petr, both gone through stages where when nobody ever heard about social business, we were talking nonsense to most of the people, but nowadays we have first case studies that are actually having significant social impact and making real changes on the ground.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and I think in Armenia it's still in its nascent stage. But there is a shift in the global paradigm now, right? We read so much about social entrepreneurship and social enterprise, and you know, instead of wildfire capitalism and all of that, people trying to give back to those. Peter, you know, we are in a post-Soviet space. You know, I feel like a broken record because we keep referring to it because it has had such an impact. You know, we're now into our second generation post-Soviet Armenia, and yet we still find issues. And coming from, again, from a similar background in your own countries, is social entrepreneurship the new global paradigm?
Well, it is and it is not, right? I think it's more about like why you're doing what you're doing, whether you put your financial return first or impact first. And basically social entrepreneurship all boils down to like the very basic values of responsibility, respect, and patience and long-term view. So in my opinion, sustainability means a very long-term approach to whatever you're doing, to every single business decision you make every day, that it makes sense not only for your company, but also to the planet, to the community, to your employees, your suppliers down your value chain, etc. So I kind of feel that it's not a new paradigm, but kind of a return to our roots, that we try to honor not only the quarterly financial results and the risks we're trying to address while doing business, but at the same time considering the impact we're having on our environment.
It's also about a sense of community, right? Understanding that the world isn't just about you, but it impacts how your life evolves, impacts your neighbors and your friends and your cousins' lives as well. In the Czech Republic, have we seen success stories?
Yeah, we have seen many success stories, and you know, traditionally in the 90s, a lot of NGOs were formed after the communist regime collapsed in 1989. But more and more NGOs see that for real sustainability, they need to get more independent from grants and donors. So they build fundraising from their members or people who support them. And at the same time, they're experimenting with running social businesses that can be self-sustainable, give them freedom to innovate and focus not only on projects, but on the ecosystem building and deep impact.
Sara, I want to talk a little bit, if we can, about the kinds of ideas that were submitted. When we talk about social entrepreneurship, I'm just curious, in Gavar, for example, or from Stepanavan, what were the kinds of things people were saying that, I have an idea, we have this problem, I have an idea to fix it?
You know, most of the problems, sort of quote unquote, that came from the regions were actually quite general. Most people were submitting problems related to unemployment, which are obviously at the top of our agenda in Armenia. Also, youth boredom. That was an interesting one. A lot of ideas about how the fact that the youth in these various places are frankly bored, and they would like to create something to sort of not just have people have something to do, but also to kind of spread energy and spread hope. So this is the type of a lot of ideas that we got, and then there were, you know, some more sort of practical things like trash. Trash isn't being picked up, or people don't know how to properly dispose of their trash and how to deal with that. So those were the general ideas we got. But what's interesting is that just the 2 days, I've noticed that those ideas are becoming much more concrete and much more focused. Just from the 5-6 hours of spending time with Petr and Ondrej, because that's what we're really pushing. You know, you have to kind of. You can't solve everything, so I think a lot of these young people have so much energy and it's awesome, but they want to solve it all. They want to deal with the trash, the unemployment, and and so trying to get more focused and realistic, right. I think has been kind of our job in the last 48 hours and will be in the next 48 hours.
Right. You know, Ondrej, in Armenia, we always talk about the fact that there's such a lack or an absence of hope. And without hope, you know, without inspiration, oftentimes it's very easy to give up. So you've been looking at the kinds of ideas that have been coming in. How would you rate it? I mean, had you done something similar to this, and what were your impressions when you saw the kinds of ideas that were coming?
Well, for me, this is difficult to believe because the people we met, there is a lot of hope in them.
Okay,
I'm
happy to be wrong.
It's a very special selection of people, but these are people who have energy, who have hope, and who want to change Armenia for the better. Mm-hmm. So I see a lot of hope in that, and we are. It's not a rocket science that we are telling them, but we are telling them to focus and to really find out the root problems that their target populations are facing. We are telling them, go out and ask what the problem really is, not what you think it is or what people are saying it is.
Peter, so oftentimes it's also about empowerment, right? It's about believing that you can be the change. Is that part of the idea here as well? Yeah,
definitely. We always try to share our experience that, you know, it all boils down to great teams. That, you know, if you're able to convene a great team that is able to work with your target group, with the stakeholders, to prototype your solution, then we see that the whole universe can unite to help you with your energy, with your project. So empowerment is definitely one important component of that. The other ones are, you know, tapping into the network that's available or becoming available, because we see that people are disconnected, and it's very difficult to drive change single-handedly. You need allies, sometimes unlikely allies, that will help you get to the right resources. And as Ondrej said, you need to talk to the people, and if you have a great pitch, you'll find sooner or later the people who will help you out.
Right. Well, I think that's a wonderful notion, sentiment, and I'd really like to thank Impact Hub for instilling that kind of hope and belief, that we can be the change, that we can find partners, and we can incubate ideas, and we can hopefully make a change for the better. So 30 days from now, what happens? If you can just briefly tell us what happens.
So 30 days from now, all of the groups that we've been talking to will come together again in Yerevan, Stepanavan, Gavar, and Gyumri. And basically, it'll be their opportunity to tell the world. I mean, we're going to have 2 other folks actually come out in 30 days and listen to the ideas, how far they've come, and sort of give them an opportunity to sort of pitch those ideas, not just to the group, but to us. And then we're going to choose the 3 best, the best team, the best idea, and the best progress. And we're going to, basically, we've decided to organize a dinner with some investors to have them have an opportunity to sort of really pitch with people who could actually invest in those ideas and see where it goes.
Well, here is a call out to all the investors on the planet who want to invest in hope, inspiration, innovation, entrepreneurship, from, you know, very remote places in Armenia to the capital city. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Sara, Ondrej, Peter, and the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for following CivilNet.